What's up everyone, welcome to Tears Avenue. My name is Darren and today we're going to be talking about The Flash because it director, his name is Andy Muschietti, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Since his It Chapter 2 is coming out next week, he's been doing his rounds of interviews and Flash got brought up. And someone asked him about The Flash and asked him if The Flash will be his next project. And he came out and confirmed that yes, the Flash movie will become his next project after It Chapter 2 is done. And when he was asked if there will be any horror elements to The Flash, this is what he said. He says, "An element if horror? I don't think so. What captivated me about The Flash is the human drama in it. The human feelings and emotion that play in the drama of it. It's going to be fun too. I can't promise that there will be any horror element in it, really, but it's a beautiful human story." So there you have it. He confirmed that he will be donning the Flash movie after he does his rounds of promotions for It Chapter 2, and he may or may not put any horror element to the Flash. I definitely think he will. I think depending on what villain he goes with, either that's with the Reverse Flash, Savitar, Gorilla Grodd, whoever, I think he could definitely put in that horror element to it. I mean, look at James Wan, right? James Wan so happened to put his spin on horror during the trench scene, and those scenes were fantastic. And I could definitely see it, especially if you do the whole Reverse Flash storyline with him and Barry, him killing his, Reverse Flash killing his parents and making him look very menacing, like make him look very scary as well, and bringing that dark element to Reverse Flash and just making him look very menacing. And I can definitely see that. So reading this quote right here that he had with Fandango, it doesn't sound like the script is done yet. Maybe they are still developing the script, but I can definitely see him adding those elements during production or while they write the script. So that's very exciting. I'm very excited for It Chapter 2. It's coming out next week on September 6th. So I'm super stoked about that. But another thing that I want to talk about is another Flash related story, and it has to do with the Justice League, because we can't get enough of this Justice League drama already. So let's see here. So recently, Fabian Wagner, who was the cinematographer for Justice League before Zack Snyder left, unfortunately Wagner wasn't able to be on location when they were doing reshoots with Joss Whedon. But he recently had an interview, or someone recently asked him if he saw the Justice League movie, and this is what he said. He said, "I have. Unfortunately, I was watching it and I think I was crying all the way through. So it's hard for me to say exactly how much was changed, but a lot was changed. It looked very different. It's sad for me because I loved working with Zack. I had the time of my life. There were many other things on that movie that made it so good, apart from the fact that I was working with Zack and the whole gang. It was just a great shoot, and so it was a shame to see the film the way it turned out to be. You can just see it. You can just see, if you watch the first trailers, you can see how the film should have looked and how the film did look when they were shooting it." So there you have it. This guy, man, watching the movie that you made, and just bursting out crying, or probably had tears come down his face while you're watching it, seeing how much it got butchered. Man, that sucks. That sucks. And that, as a fan, that is very a very sad feeling and a crushing feeling for me as well. For someone that's been looking forward to a live-action Justice League and seeing the result that we got, and seeing how it was mistreated, and seeing everyone that was more on board with the Zack Snyder cut, and seeing how they were disappointed with the final cut as well, is very disheartening. And there you have it. It proves that people on his team, on Zack Snyder's team, really want this Zack Snyder cut to come out. And a lot of people in the industry don't agree with the Joss Whedon cut as well. So yeah, totally sucks. I know it's hearing a lot of these negative comments about the Justice League is It's kind of like beating a dead horse at this point, but I wanted to just throw it out there because he did in fact say that he ended up crying during during his viewing. So yeah, it sucks. And this article also says, this is coming from Comic Book Movie. This article says that he even met his wife during Justice League. So Justice League plays a big part in this guy's life, and it's it sucks that it didn't end up being what we all wanted it to be. And you can kind of tell, right? If you watch the first few trailers, I'm sure you guys already know this. If you watch the first few trailers of Justice League, you could see the difference from the actual cut of the movie that we got. So huge bummer. Honestly, yeah, I would have wanted the darker, more grittier version of Justice League and not the whole orange saturated look that we got, and all the smiles that we got. Smiley Batman? Really, Joss Whedon? Come on, we don't want that. I don't want that, at least. Alright, so the next story that I want to talk about has to do with the Joker. So Todd Phillips, he recently came out, talked about his black label idea that he was trying to pitch for Warner Brothers. So the black label it's pretty much parallel with what's going on with the comic books right now, which is a darker take of these DC characters, and this is kind of what he wanted to do with the movieverse, right? He wanted to get like these directors and put their own spin onto it, and he was calling it DC Dark or DC Black, right? And he was pitching it to Warner Brothers, and Todd Phillips, he recently commented what Warner Brothers told him. They were like, calm down with the label. How about do one movie first? I love that quote. And it's just pretty much like, don't get ahead of yourself. Let's see what the response is with your first Joker movie, and then we could hear your other ideas. And it sounds to me that DC is not jumping the gun yet, which is good. They're not getting too excited about the future because they never know what it's going to behold based off its previous history. It sounds to me DC definitely has learned their lesson. And Todd Phillips, he came out and even talked about it. He talks about the DC Black idea, and he said this: there are always going to be naysayers, but from what I gather about the momentum of the movie and the response to the teaser we put out, the majority of the fans seem to be excited about going down a different road. And then he goes on, continues, and he talks about the movie. He says, but also, this will not be the last Joker movie ever made. It might be the last Joaquin and I do, but someone else is going to come along and do another one, just like the Spider-Man. So if you don't like this one, don't worry. It'll get reinvented again. That's the fun thing about these characters. In a way, comic books are Shakespeare, and just like there are many versions of Hamlet and Macbeth, they've done 4 or 5 versions of the Joker in the last 25 or 30 years. So why not do another one that's wildly different? So there you have it. I mean, he's right. I mean, when we first heard about this Todd Phillips Joker movie, a lot of us were kind of thought it was random. Thought it wasn't necessary. At least I didn't. I didn't think it was necessary. I thought it was a dumb idea. Like, who cares about the Joker? We know it. The best part about Joker is that you don't know his origin. That was like a running comment that a lot of people had. I apologize if you guys hear something in the background. One of my doors creaking in and out. It's opening and closing because the windows are open. It's making this creaking sound, by the way. So apologize if you hear that. Anyways, yeah. And so once this trailer got out and once we saw what Joaquin looked like as the Joker, a lot of us changed face like as usual, and we are all on board and we are all excited about it. And a lot of us want this to be very successful, and yeah, we flipped the 180. And so his comment about the fans' response with the teaser and the trailer, and how it feels like fans want something different, is definitely true. I think, again, I've said this in my previous video, fans don't know what they want until it's in front of them. We could hear about these random announcements until you give us a really killer trailer. We won't be on board until we see that, right? So I totally agree. And the whole Shakespeare metaphor that he was talking about the Joker is very true. I mean, we've seen multiple iterations of James Bond. Many people are playing him. Same goes with the Batman. And if if you know, if people are gonna do their own rendition of the Joker and do solo Joker movies from now until forever, so be it. I don't mind, as long as it's a really good experience. Especially depending on how this performs. I'm sure it'll perform definitely well. I have no doubt in my mind at this point. But assuming it's gonna, you know, it's gonna knock it out of the park, I don't mind seeing other directors and other actors play the Joker and have their own version of their own origin of the Joker. And I think that would be really fun, because like no one really knows what the origin is for the Joker, right? I mean, you could dig through comic books and connect the dots, but I think the fun of it is everyone having their own interpretation of the origin of the Joker. And I think Todd Phillips is definitely paving the way for many. I mean, we've had many great people play the Joker before, from Heath Ledger to Jack Nicholson to Heath Ledger to Jared Leto, and now Joaquin Phoenix. So continue the path, and I think we will be fine. So that's it for today's video. Kind of a quick rundown of what happened today, but I wanted to get that out there for you guys. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of all this, and don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you guys again. Bye.